What's true about January 6th? This is Professor David Michael Boje. I want to talk to you about There Being, called Dasein by Martin Heidegger, as well as some indigenous ways of knowing and a critique of Western ways of knowing. I'm from Enthinkment Circle. We asked, does the essence question deprive all thinking of its breadth? Does it bring to light the groundlessness of all philosophy? Does essence of truth question disregard for actual existence, and strong common sense asserts its own right as an appeal to the obviousness? Obviousness, capital assault. Western ways of knowing, way walk. Indigenous ways of knowing, I walk, has to do with anti-narratives and tells it truth. Anti-narratives are those processes that constitute storytelling, in this case about January 6th. Is it an insurrection? Heidegger gives the case of 2 5-mark silver coins. What is the silver standard of truth for insurrectionists? Trump issues 2 Trump silver coins. What is that essence of truth? Stop the steal. Stop the steal. A rebellion? Question mark. On the essence of truth, Martin Heidegger makes a number of points. It's not a truth of practical experience, not a truth of economic calculation, not a truth of technical consideration, not a truth of political sagacity, not a truth of thoughtful reflection, not a truth of cultic belief. The question, what is the essence of truth, looms. MAGA, the cult of belief. Make America great again. Where do we stand today at Enthinkment Circle? We meet every Tuesday, 1 o'clock on Zoom. You can find us at enthinkment.com. And thinking itself is very radical because we're questioning ways of thinking. Is truth correspondence in accord with matter or knowledge? Here we say material, discursive, matter, but also a display of knowledge. Divine right, led, bestowed by God. Leaders actually bestowed by God. Intellectual divineness, intellectualist humanists by divine plans of creation. Greatness, veritas. Accord agreement of world order of creation taking this proposition of logical logos. Question, is divine correspondence and correctness having a lack of success? Truth is the adequation of things and intellect in this approach. Heidegger is going through a number of approaches. This is one. Freedom is the F word. Is their presidential comportment of leadership conforming to pre-given fulfillments of essence of truth, i.e. the Constitution, Supreme Court, up to the region, the open region of essence, freedom, presidential leadership, and openness to comportment may be assessed by district courts, So says the ruling of the Supreme Court. And yet, deceit, dissimulation, lies and deception, illusion and semblance of all kinds of untruth. Heidegger, Section 3. Supreme Court ruling, presidential immunity. What is the essence of freedom? In Thinkman's circle, preparing for a transformation of thinking, correctness between truth and freedom, essential ground of Dasein. And the essay says Dasein is man. What about woman? Reappears in the domain of truth. The correctness of more original, essential truth is in question. Freedom opened up into the open region. "187 minutes of Donald Trump's dangerous refusal to stop the Capitol rioters in their freedom." President Trump did not fail to act during the 187 minutes between leaving the ellipse and telling the mob to go home. He chose to act. We distinguish in tellsitruth.com, and you can see the presentations there, I Walk history, or rather Waywalk is all about history and time, and a refusal of nature, where I Walk puts nature, of place, and the space of land and the care of the land. But this Tells the Truth is split into two pathways in America. Waywalk and Trump of the Bible. The I Walk critique is that the Bible thumpers have a groundless truth in the hereafter. Existent, disclosive, letting being be, attuned to freedom. Every mode of open comportment flourishes, letting beings be. You saw this in January 6th. As freedom has already attuned all comportment to being as a whole. Kind of a movement of freedom. Freedom has already attuned all components to being as a whole being, attuned, existent. Exposedness to being as a whole can be experienced and felt only because the man who experiences without being aware of the essence of the attunement is always engaged in being attuned in a way that discloses being as a whole. But here we look at this poll. It says, what happened at the Capitol? An insurrection, says 85% Democrats. Trying to overthrow the government, 85% governments. Patriotism, says 47% of the representatives. Defending freedom, 56%. Pinocchio likes Trump. Number of false, misleading claims, month to month, week to week, day to day. The anti-narrative, that's the work I've done for 24 years. Articulation of the truth as being as a whole. The Waywalk storytelling, Western Ways of Knowing, is about history. How many have ears for these words? Matter not. What those are that can hear them determines man's or human standpoint in history, Section 8 of Heidegger. Here we see Waywalk and I Walk split, tells it true in two ways. more about anti-narrative, antinarrative.com. Stay tuned, I still got more here. This is the 7 ways of Waywalk that I've done a presentation on and got charts on at antinarrative.com. And it goes from the beneath of the facts and beliefs and opinions to the bets, the facts of the future fulfilling God's plan. There's the becoming split into evolution and entropy. There's the beyond split, not of this world, heaven awaits. There's the between split of the eternal and the materialism. 4, time split into chronos and kairos. Kairos, the present event, is where all the meaning is. This is a duality. We don't like dualities. So before retrospective sense making, by beginning, middle, end, chronological record, going beneath. So again, antinarrative.com, you can find more about it. But then there's indigenous ways of knowing. Leroy Little Bear, Vine Deloria, people that come to the Quantum Storytelling Conference. Beneath the facts, etc., the abstract conceptual schema is polytheism, maybe pantheism, many gods or no God at all. Bets on the future are answerable to nature, becoming in scope of sustaining nature processes beyond Newtonian clock time and clockwork to a spiritual cosmos of wholeness. Between all our relations, plant, animal, cells, mountains, water, air, cosmos, the place, where over time of the when. The before is nature, processes wherever, and over the when. So again, that's at antinarrative.com. And there's a more detailed video there. Now the Maori, when I visited the Maori 2 years in a row, went over there on a fellow's voyage, an adventure. There's indigenous ways of knowing of the Maori. There's also Waywalk of the non-Maori settlers, settler colonialism. But there's a notion called braided rivers, how the two rivers or many rivers, the streams start to entangle and intertwine. Why can't we have conversations anymore in the United States of America? Well, if there's two truths and they're equally divided among the population, tells it true happens in two different ways and without respect, without listening. So this is a big question in a video I did. I'll try to put the link in the description. And I get this one for you. So this has been a presentation for Enthinkment Circle, for antinarrative.com, for Tells It True. And we have a December conference. You can find out at quantum-storytelling.com. You can go to antinarrative.com. TrueStorytelling.org has a lot on anti-narrative and what's true. TellsItTrue.com. And you can contact me at davidboje@gmail.com. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. Thank you.